my video. All right. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever part of the world you are. This is CyberGuard Launch event, public event. We do have public events on a regular basis, most likely on a monthly basis. And this is the edition for March that promises to be very great. You can all bear witness to me, particularly for those who have attended our previous events. Today, we're going to be looking at mastering incident response, which is a critical domain within the cybersecurity field. And you will all agree with me that without incident response in cybersecurity, a lot of things will go definitely wrong. So beyond protecting the network, beyond protecting the major assets, unfortunately, things will still go wrong in some instances. And because of that, there's the need for readiness to combat such incidents. And that is the reason for incident response. I would be, before I go into the welcoming address, my name is Dipo Adewumi. I've introduced myself a number of times. If you still want to know a little more about me, you can visit the CyberGuard Lounge website. You will get a little more about me. And also you can just check your LinkedIn, check my account on LinkedIn, Dipo Adewumi, to have more about my person, and you also get to know more about the CyberGuard Lounge. So I will be sharing my screen with everyone very soon in order to introduce us to the services being offered by CyberGuard Lounge Limited. Okay. All right. So this is CyberGuard Lounge. And CyberGuard Lounge is an IT services organization, a consulting firm with specialization in cybersecurity. As we all know, the world we live in today is really interconnected. Digital transformation is actually the norm in the world we live in today. The way the world is living now is being digitized by technology. And unfortunately, the technology also have inherent security risk that needs to be properly and effectively protected. And that's the reason for cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is critical in virtually all the facets of human endeavor. And so at CyberGuard Lounge, we offer a wide range of cybersecurity services. And I want to let you know some of the services we do render at CyberGuard Lounge. Our services include cybersecurity risk management. That essentially is all about implementing cybersecurity program for any organization, be it small size, medium size, or even large organization. And you will all agree with me that cybersecurity starts with leadership. Without the leadership buying into cybersecurity program in any typical organization cannot be effective, not to talk of being a success. So at CyberGuard Lounge, we will guide our clients in establishing a tailored fit cybersecurity program for such an organization to ensure that their cybersecurity requirements align with their business requirements and objectives and goals to achieve the strategic mission of the organization. And beyond that, also, we do services in the area of governance, risk, and compliance, popularly known as GRC. We help our organizations, after setting up the cybersecurity program, we help our organizations to also develop security policies tailored to their specific needs using the international security standards and framework and regulations being put into consideration. And we also help in terms of their end-to-end security risk assessment. That's a proper diagnostic assessment of their security posture, and we identify the risk, and we also help them to implement security risk control to ensure that the security gaps identified are effectively mitigated. And of course, the aspect of compliance is really, really important. And beyond security, we're also looking at the aspect of privacy, which is really important, that is tailored to personally identifiable information in any typical organization, ensuring compliance with leading international regulations like the GDPR. So we help our clients to ensure that they are fully compliant with the respective regulations. And we also, part of our services include security assessment and audit. We conduct a wide range of security assessment and audit for any typical organization using top-notch security tools. And with our expertise, we're able to identify vulnerabilities. We're able to also help them in terms of even additional services in terms of cybersecurity threat intelligence, threat modeling as well. We do a lot of network scanning, identifying all the vulnerabilities, advising on the matter of patch management and the likes. And beyond that, we also render services in the area of digital forensic and incident response. As you will all agree with me, one of the major part of it is what we're going to be dealing with this today. That is the incident response. So I'm not going to dwell much on that because of our time. We also provide, you know, our approach is practical, is hands-on, and we have a very good mix between the business and the technical. So whoever we are dealing with in terms of whoever is our client, we're able to make them to understand even the technical stuff or technical terms or technical requirements in a very simple and clear terms. And beyond that, we offer advisory services that is more or less like a professional consultation to our teaming clients. And education and training is one of the things that we also do at CyberGuard Lounge. You will all agree with me, part of it is what we are offering today. That is training, even at no cost. We have tailor-fit security trainings that we offer. One of the top-notch training that we are just about to roll out is artificial intelligence security. And I'm so sure you will be willing to be part of it. We are going to be giving information about that very soon. But trust me, the AI security training is going to be a paid-for training, so it's not going to be free of charge. But I can assure you that it's not just going to be a classroom training alone. It's going to be hands-on training. So I will be, if you are really interested in that, you can also drop a comment on the chat, you know, that I'm interested in AI security training, and our team will get in touch with you. We notify you about the time when the training will be on so that you can be part of the training. So that's a bit about the program that we offer at CyberGuard Lounge. Thank you so very much. Now we're going into the business of the day. And as we go into the business of the day, if you are really with me, I want you to do me a thumbs up, please. Thumbs up for me so that I can know that you're really with me. Hello, the house is quiet. It's so quiet. I want thumbs up from everyone, please. All right. Thank you so much, love it. Thank you. I really appreciate that. You know, that's the ginger I need. Oh, thank you so much, Abdul. Thank you. That's the ginger I need to fire on. Thank you so very much. I'm really excited about that. It shows that yes, you are fired up for today's event, and so we are going into the heart of incident response training for the day, and you know, like 2 days ago, one of my mentees sent out a write-up on incident response, and that really caught my attention. It was a very brilliant write-up, and I said no, I will not keep it to myself. I must share it with everyone. So I will just share that write-up with us. It's a short but very insightful write-up on incident response, because I'm not I don't want to assume that everyone on the platform today knows everything about incident response. Some may just, to them, incident response may be a completely new concept. But with this insightful write-up, you get to have a very good understanding of what incident response is all about. And so I will just share my screen to just run us through that write-up. The write-up is from Kelechi Asi, one of my wonderful mentee. So it goes like this. Imagine you are going about your day when suddenly a sharp pain strikes. You collapse and an ambulance rushes you to the hospital. But when you arrive, confusion takes over. The emergency doors swing open as you are wheeled in, struggling to breathe. Nurses looks at each other, unsure of what to do. One picks up a call to phone, but doesn't know what to or who to call. Another checks a file, but finds no clear instructions. Time is running out, and no one is prepared. The delay could be the difference between life and death. Now, think of this in a different way. Instead of a hospital, imagine a company facing a cyber attack. Hackers have locked critical data with ransomware or a hacked system with administrative privilege. But no one knows what to do. Employees are confused and unsure of whom to notify. They don't even know where to look when a system is breached. There is no incident response plan, no clear steps, and no preparation. The company crumbles, losing precious time while the attackers take full control. The damage grows worse simply because there was no plan to contain and fix the problem. Just like hospitals need emergency procedures to save lives, businesses need an incident response plan to protect their data. Without one, panic sets in, mistakes are made, and the consequences can be severe. Preparation is key. Training is essential. Having the right team and a solid plan can make the difference between control and disaster. Please don't wait for the chaos before you start thinking of what to do. Instead, plan and wait for chaos to come. But guess what? It will meet you prepared. Thank you. That's a very beautiful write-up from Kelechi Asi. Thank you so much, Kelechi, for that beautiful write-up. All right, so now let me end this write-up. Okay, good. So now I will just run us through the preamble of the incident response. Afterwards, I will introduce the trainer for the day, and we go into the heart of mastering incident response. That will be the plan for the day. All right, so the first aspect is understanding incident response. And you will look at it and say, okay, what is incident response all about? And what is the global outlook, the present global outlook of incident response? Because at CyberGuard Lounge, we are not just looking at incident response in a theoretical perspective alone. The world we live in today is the world that is highly dynamic. A lot of things are changing in the world we live in today. So there is a need for us to have a very good understanding of the incident response concept. What incident response has been up till now, and what are the things that are changing, and what will the future be for the incident response in order for it to be effective when it comes to the cybersecurity practice. Now, incident response majorly, the major aim of incident response is all about detection of incidents. That's like the anomaly that has to do with security. You know, it could be on the network, it could be in the cloud, it could be with a particular host attached to the network. And the second aspect is the containment of such an incident, which is very important. And when we're talking about incidents, I'm talking about the security incident. And you can see this very gigantic red, indeed, really, really red board here today. It has a lot of security incidents that are, you know, highlighted. But then they are not, the list is not exhaustive. It's not really exhaustive. We have malware, we have phishing, we have SQL injection, man in the middle attack, DNS attacks, ransomware, command and control, data breach, sniffing, social engineering, zero-day, advanced persistent threats, supply chain, you know, Internet of Things threats, and the list go, you know, it goes on and on and on and on. You can also add to it, and you can also drop some other cyber incidents, you know, that you can quickly think of, you know, on the chat so that other people can and also learn from that. So we have a number of cyber incidents, and they are growing day by day, even in sophistication. So there is a need for incident response plan to effectively detect such security incidents in a typical network, not just detecting them. We go from detecting to a proper containment of such. And beyond that, we have to eradicate, you know, to eradicate that those cyber security incidents. And beyond that, there is a need for recovery, to recover the network, the system, or the machines that are primarily affected by the cyber incidents. And now, the standard phases of a typical incident response plan for any specific or any typical organization, let me put it like that, are based on the National Institute of Standard and Technology. It has majorly, it has about six phases. We have the preparation and planning phase. That is the first one. That is the beginning of incident response plan. So for any security or cybersecurity professional who wants to establish an effective incident response in his organization, these phases will be a very good framework to adopt in order to have a well-established incident response plan based on standard practice. We have the preparation and the planning, which is about, first of all, the beginning, laying the groundwork for incident response plan. It has to do with developing and implementing incident response policy, procedures, and also building or developing or establishing incident response team, because within the cybersecurity field, we have a subset field or team that is primarily responsible for incident response, and they are referred to as the incident response team. Then we have the incident response playbook. It's just like a guideline, like automated guideline that one can easily refer to address any specific cyber security incidents. We have specific playbooks for specific cyber incidents. There could be a playbook for phishing, a playbook for ransomware attack. For example, if an organization has an incident that has to do with ransomware, and they already have in place a playbook to address the attack of ransomware, it will help them to know stepwise on what to do right from the beginning to the end in terms of identifying the ransomware attack to the end of even curtailing the attack and learning the root causes and applying the lesson learned. So then beyond that, we have the training. So the second phase is the phase of detection and analysis, which is analyzing the network traffic, checking it, reviewing the logs, looking at making use of the security tools like the IDS, that is the intrusion detection system, and intrusion prevention system, as well as antivirus and things like that, and all of that, and making sure that those things are well in place. Then from that phase, there is the phase of containment, eradication, and recovery. Containment is all about, there is an incident that has affected a particular system. Maybe the system, of course, is connected to some other system, so in a network. And the containment is, we want to make sure that the incident is limited to a particular local machine, and it is prevented from spreading the attack or the breach or the ransomware or maybe the malware to other machines on the network. So try to reduce the effect of such a cyber incident. So it's all about blocking the IP address, the malicious IP address, patching, setting up the firewalls, reconfiguration, and the likes and all that. So containment, eradication, recovery is in that phase. From that phase, we go into the phase of the post-incident activity and review, which is all about, analyzing the root cause of such an incident. What could have been the reason for it? What's the root cause, and what could be done even to prevent a reoccurrence of such in the future. And beyond that, we look at the control assessment. I call it self-control assessment. It's like a self-audit. Before you even bring in security auditors to come and audit the network, you carry it out yourself and look at it and say, okay, in a typical organization, what are the current posture of the security controls, and what are the ideal, and identifying the gap and looking at what could be done to bridge the gap in order to prevent such incident from taking place in the future. And afterwards, we go into the aspect of the lesson learned, which is implementation. Having identified the root cause of such incidents and the likes, there's a need to also look at the policy, the existing incident response policy, as it effectively taking care of the security challenges or the potential security challenges the organization may be facing. And if the answer is no, in most cases, the answer is no, because the security landscape is constantly changing. And so if there is a need for an update of the the incident response policy, then that should be done promptly so that it will effectively take care of potential incident that may be facing the organization. And of course, not only the policy, we have the security procedure as well. The strategies, being used for the incident response also must be up to date. It shouldn't be an archaic strategy. It should be an up-to-date strategy. And trust me, in our training today, the trainer will be giving us up-to-date strategies to to actually implement our incident response. Then the aspect of the training of the incident response team cannot be overemphasized. It is really, really important. It's critically important. And in view of that, in view of that, the beyond the policy, beyond the tools, beyond the procedures, even the team must be brought to speed in terms of the skills, the expertise required to effectively carry out incident response for any typical organization. Well, I want to ask, okay, let me just deal with the last one, the last phase before I ask my question. The last one is enhancement of the response protocols. So it's all about the incident response process improvement using the capability maturity model integration in any particular organization. An organization's incident response maybe at the moment could be just an ad hoc, not really an established plan. It is always good to move from, the basic, or let me say, the fundamentals to a well-matured, to a well-developed incident response plan for any organization. So part of the incident response phase is also the enhancement of the response protocols. So it's the process improvement. There is a need to improve the process of incident response, on a regular basis in order to take it from the rudimentary to a well-matured process that can be of greater benefit to the organization. So among all these six phases of incident response plan for any typical organization based on National Institute of Standard and Technology, I want to ask you, which phase do you consider the most important or the critically important among all these phases? I just want just one answer from each person. If you pick an answer, just drop it on the chat. I'm going to review the answer afterwards. So please do me a favor. Please do me a favor, because that's the only way I can know that you are following me actively in this little presentation. So which one do you consider as the most critical phase out of all these six phases? So beyond that, we look at the incident response. Looking at it, looking at the perspective of incident response on the past, the present, and the future. There is no need to look so much to the past. The past is the past. But let us look at the present, then we look at the future. The present and the future is summarized in two categories. These two categories are the human-driven as well as the AI-powered response. Human-driven in the sense that the incident response plan is majorly human-driven. A lot of manual work has to be put into it and all that, Then we have the other one, which is the artificial intelligence-powered incident response. We all know that AI is already transforming the world we live in today, and no one can afford to be left behind. Not even the professionals within the cybersecurity, world. No, not in the least. Now, up till now, majorly the incident response plan is human-driven. A lot of human analysis, monitoring, logging, checking, defending, and all sorts. We want to look at what are these characteristics and what are the drawbacks for this human-driven incident response. Then we look straight into the AI-powered incident response. Like I've said, the world we live in today is highly connected world. It's the world of wide world web, internet. And it's going to be almost unthinkable for anyone not to have one thing or the other to do with the internet. The same way it's going to be almost unthinkable for anyone not to have anything at all to do with AI. So if we are looking at it with that mindset, then we will agree that, okay, there is a need to jump from just being human-driven, a lot of manual intervention, manual processes into a high-powered incident response. And so, what essentially constitutes, or what are the characteristics of the present human-driven incident response? Which are the challenges? The challenges for the present human-driven incident response are these. Number one, it is time-consuming. You will all agree with me, anything that involves manual activities, manual processes, can really be time-consuming as against automation, as against things that are really supported by machine. So human-driven incident response, as good as it is still time-consuming. And the sophistication level of the cyber attacks or incidents we are experiencing in the world we live in today is it's at an alarming state that no one can afford to be slow. It has to be at a top speed. Unfortunately, the human-driven is time consuming. So it is not meeting up with the challenge, with the need to properly protect the organization against cyber incidents. So that's the first drawback. The second one is the skill gap. A lot of activities, a lot of tasks are within the incident response. When you look at the aspect of detection, let's even look at the domain of malware detection in itself. Take a particular malware or a particular malware that has not even been really, discovered before. Before a proper detection, you go into the analysis of such a malware. Take, for example, you are doing like a decoupling or a disassembly of a particular malware, analyzing it, is it true malware or not? It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of skills. Then you go into the aspect of the forensic itself. You go into the aspect of containment, blocking the IP, doing this and all that. I can assure you that the field is still lacking a lot of skills when it comes to that. So there is that challenge of skill gaps when it comes to human-driven incident response. A lot of people do not have the sufficient or the adequate skills to effectively carry out the function of incident response in a typical organization. That's a challenge. The other one is the elevated complexity of that attacks. I've touched on that in passing sometimes before, that the level of attack today is highly sophisticated. And some of these attacks are even being launched by artificial intelligence enabled tools, So you need such tools as well to be able to counter it effectively. The other challenge is the alert fatigue. Many people within the team of incident response face a lot of alert fatigue. Alert fatigue means, imagine you start off your work 9 a.m. in the morning, and between 9 and 10 or between 9 and 12, you have received thousands of alerts. Some of them could be false positives, some of them could be true positives, some of them could be, the other parts. It can be really overwhelming. And the fatigue can really be daunting. And so you need some form of capability that will enhance your productivity, that will make you to make less use of human intervention, so that at least you can save your breath and be able to work effectively. The other aspect is lack of real-time visibility. Anything that has to do with manual intervention, at best, could be near real-time, not essentially real-time visibility. But the kind of attack we are combating in the 21st century are the kind of attacks that require real-time visibility to be able to manage effectively. Otherwise, a lot of attacks will go on successfully without being addressed, even in good time. And so the window of attack will be so elongated, and it will affect the organization in a very negative way. The other one is the slow response time. Slow response time. The manual process is involved in detecting, in containing, in eradicating. So at the end of the day, the response time is really, really slow. And that is not good for any typical organization. So these 6 major challenges are challenges that are really affecting human-driven incident response. And any typical organization must be ready to see how they can effectively, address these challenges by bringing in some form of capability to ensure that things are done in a proper way. So there is the evolution of incident response with artificial intelligence and automation. We have looked at the challenges of human-driven incident response. Now there is a need to evolve, or let me say, to transit from the human-driven to AI-powered incident response or a form of automation. And candidly, a lot of tools are now coming up and being developed that are now going to be used for incident response effectively. So we look at the AI-based detection tools. There are AI-enabled tools now that can effectively be used to detect cyber incidents in a typical network or on a particular machine or host. And the cybersecurity professionals should start looking into that, because that will enhance their capability. Is going to make the task of incident response to be more effective. The other one is the aspect of the automated containment tools. There are tools now that can actually help to contain, any form of cyber incidents within the network so that it will prevent it from spreading on a large scale. For example, there are tools now that can automatically block malicious IP addresses from, having access to other parts of the network. Imagine some very sensitive part of the network, and such malicious IP addresses are having, access to such. That could really, really be devastating. So there are tools that could do that, and there are tools also that could isolate a particular machine automatically. Any machine that has become infected, can automatically be isolated even before the cybersecurity or let's say the incident response team members, even before they rise up to that occasion. These tools are being, they are already automated to do the isolation automatically, and that will prevent further spread of cyber threats. And we have the adaptive learning as well. Adaptive learning is particularly very useful when it comes to the sophistication of the cyber incidents that we're having. There are certain form of threats that are evolving day by day that are not known before. Issues like zero-day attacks that have not really been known before, not to talk of developing some form of, countermeasures in terms of patching and all that against such vulnerabilities. There are certain threats that we exploit such. But with adaptive learning, the AI-enabled tools can actually understand the nature of the network traffic and any anomaly. They can easily pick up any anomaly and quickly go into some form of analysis to understand what is actually happening and to be able to take proactive action in order to avoid any negativity from taking place against the network. And this is a typical AI-powered real-time threat detection, architecture on a large, on a high-level view, starting from the start, trying to get all the necessary data. And I'm not going to go into the details because of the time. At the moment, I will be introducing the the speaker very soon. So this is the AI-powered real-time threat detection, and that's the high view of it. If you want to learn more, reach out to us at CyberGuard Launch. We're going to guide you on that. And this one is essentially AI-powered automated containment. The other one is threat detection. This one is the containment, to automate the containment of threats and all of that, so that it will prevent further spread, in the on the network. And finally, the key AI-driven incident response stages that we need to know. Because to be candid, the world very soon will prioritize AI-enabled incident response over the manual or human-driven incident response. So the first one is the real-time detection. So it's not going to be giving us near real time. No, it's going to be giving us real time. So as it is happening, actions are being taken, things, threats are being detected. Then the other one is automated containment. So containment is not going to be manual, it's going to be automated. So it's going to be as it's happening, actions are being taken proactively in order to prevent more damage to the network. And again, there's the other stage, the third stage, which is the enhanced incident analytics. So analytics in terms of it's run diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analysis on the network. So it's not just analysis, it's going to be analytics, bringing what has happened and what is happening and what should happen, bringing the three together in one in order to give a robust decision making. And the last one is the recovery operation. It helps even in patch management, implementation of future safeguards, fixing bugs in the system and things like that. So it's a well robust package that we should also start learning about and also getting to know how to make use of these tools, which is really, really important. So thank you very much about this short part on incident response. And now I'm going to be introducing our trainer for the day. He's a brother, he's a friend, he's a professional colleague. I remember we handled, I was in the same team with him when we handled some cybersecurity projects in cloud security, cyber threat intelligence, human factor in cybersecurity, security operations, even ethical hacking and all of that. We floated one organization then. They had a lot of troubles, with cybersecurity matters, and we were able to help the organization successfully. So our trainer today is no other person but Olabisi Olajide. He's a mathematician and as well as a cybersecurity professional. He will tell me a little more about his mathematical background and how a mathematician could transit from being a mathematician to cybersecurity, and perhaps what are the things that one can, pick up or make use of from mathematics to be a better cybersecurity professional. He's a skilled cybersecurity analyst and researcher with expertise in security operations, vulnerability assessment, cloud security, and incident response. He combines technical proficiency with a business-focused approach, ensuring cybersecurity strategies align with organization goals. Ahmed has a proven track record contributing to cybersecurity advancement through published articles and thought leadership. His work spans topics like deepfakes, Internet of Things vulnerabilities, blockchain security, and energy efficient technologies. In addition to his leadership role, he served as a peer reviewer for cybersecurity journal at the National Cyber Watch Center, where he contributes to advancing industry knowledge by evaluating and refining cybersecurity research. His multifaceted experience positions him as a key player in fostering secure and resilient digital environments. He is passionate about mentoring and empowering individuals in cybersecurity, helping them build the skills necessary to thrive in the industry. Ahmed advocates for affordable cybersecurity solutions, particularly for small businesses. And he's dedicated to promoting security awareness and innovations through writing, research, and public speaking. So my distinguished audience, join me to welcome Olabisi Olajide, our trainer on mastering incident response for the day. My brother, you're welcome on board. Olabisi, you have the floor, please.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Oh, oh, good afternoon, good day, everyone. I'm really, really sorry for taking your time. I was actually caught up in a meeting, so I had to, find a way to maneuver both. I'm really, really sorry for that. I know you've been expecting me for the meeting. Yeah. So I'm right here. Let me just share my screen right now. I won't take much of your time. Um, okay. Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, comment yes in the comment section, please.
Yes, I can see your screen, and I know all the others can see your screen as well.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Just 1 minute. Okay, once again, thank you everyone for waiting for me. I really appreciate. Thank you for everything. Yeah. So when I got a topic, cybersecurity, mastering cybersecurity incident response, I was like, okay, how do we make this interactive? How do we make sure we kind of practicalize some things as well and not just about speaking, right? So I came up with a batch script, which I will send the link to the batch script right now in the comment section. Please, I want you to um, make sure you click on the setup underscore trust me batch script. We have two scripts in that link I sent to you right now. We have the setup underscore trust me, and we have the remove something like that. So the reason for this is because we couldn't, for the purpose of this training, right? We couldn't go ahead to create a like building home lab from scratch. So there's a need for me to just kind of show you some things on incident response on Windows. So I came up with this batch script. I want you guys to click that link right now. Go to that link, click it, and run the setup underscore trust me batch file, not the remove underscore trust me, but the setup underscore trust me. So yeah, I will just go straight to this slides here in front of me, and I think about a couple of slides, about 10 or 15 slides. Then we go straight to the practical aspect of cybersecurity incident response on Windows. Now, talking about incident, right? Um, Incident happens almost everywhere, right? At work, at the hospital, even at home, right? And like fire outbreak itself is an incident. And that is why you see most homes, maybe in the UK, now have kind of like a smoke detector to kind of like detect fire outbreak, because fire outbreak itself is a threat. So incident is everywhere. Incident is everywhere at home, at the hospital, you know, but there should be a plan in place to kind of like mitigate that incident in such a way that it won't escalate to something that would maybe take people's life or maybe destroy your property. Uh, so for the purpose of the training today, I'll be talking about 7 things. I'll be talking about one, understanding cybersecurity incident response. I'll be talking about how to build an incident response policy, how to build a plan, and how to build a procedure. I'll also be talking about the importance of cybersecurity incident response framework. I'll be talking about the core components of an effective framework. I'll be talking about the themes that should be involved in cybersecurity incidents. And I'll also be talking about the practical aspects, which is incident response on Windows. So now imagine this happened to you, right? Imagine you probably at late at night, you hear someone maybe walk down into your house and you're panicked. You you call the police and you're expecting immediate response from them, right? You're expecting immediate rescue for them to maybe get to your, or rush down to your location to help you. But all of a sudden, during the call, you had them talking about maybe looking for the nearest, police officer, just trying, maybe they just maybe general fumbling on the call, trying to debate among themselves who should respond. They don't even know what to do, or they just probably tell you they will get back to you. Now, as humans, we will be frustrated. We will be frustrated because now see yourself as as a customer. See yourself as a customer. You'll be frustrated because they don't have a plan in place to respond to your own incident. And that is what happens when there is no proper cybersecurity incident in place. Now, I've seen a lot of people um, um, use these words interchangeably in cybersecurity, and there's a need for me to clarify this. The difference between these three terms, which is event, incident, and cybersecurity incident. Now, what are events? Events basically are occurrences going on within your system or your network. Like someone tries to log in into a system, right? Or a scheduled system update, something like that. So all those events ID 4624 that you see on the same platform. Somebody tried to log in into an application, all those events, all those logs coming up on the same platform or in your log monitoring platform, those are what we call events and not an incident. Now, what is an incident itself? Incident is an event or a series of events that disrupt normal operations. That disrupt normal operations and affect business processes. Example is, now fire outbreak is an incident in a working place or in an organization. One, server crash itself is an incident. Um, 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 Network latency itself is an incident as well. When something is like what happened to CrowdStrike recently, where there was a blue screen on a lot of systems and like that. So those are incidents and not necessarily cybersecurity incidents. Now, what is cybersecurity incident? This is when there is an unauthorized access to malicious activities, right? Or to your system, unauthorized access to systems or malicious activities, or the harm to something that would definitely disrupt, like the phishing email, like talking about the ransomware, like data breaches as well. So that is cybersecurity incident. And for the focus of this training today, we will be focusing on cybersecurity incident and not just incident, but cybersecurity incident. Now, according to NIST 861, incident response is defined as the process of detecting and analyzing incidents, minimizing loss and also destruction to mitigate the exploited vulnerability and restoring computing services. Now, cybersecurity incident response has cybersecurity incident response has three different pillars. We have the incident response policy, we have the incident response plan, and we have the incident response procedures. So for the incident response plan, I'll be talking more about that. But at first, I'm going to be talking just kind of like brush through these three pillars. So if you are a cybersecurity maybe manager, or you are a CISO, or you are maybe a SOC analyst level 3, or you are an incident responder or DFIR, this is something you should pay attention to. Very, very attention to, because as a cybersecurity manager or as a SOC analyst level 3 or DFIR, you will be going through these three phases, which is the response policy, the plan, and the procedure. Now, so policy, it's basically why we should be doing something, right? Policy is to prioritize the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of systems by responding to incidents within defined time frame to minimize impact. So policy just kind of like provides the high level of the whole incident response process itself. Why the incident response plan is kind of translate the policy into actionable steps, right? So what do we have in the policy? What is the scope of the policy? What are we trying to protect? Then we now design a plan for what we have in the scope of our policy, right? Now, the procedures now is how it should be done. Remember, IRP policy is what we should be doing. What are we protecting? Who are the people involved? Is it vendors? Is it a supply chain? Is it different departments? Then the critical asset itself you are trying to protect. Why the IRP plan is talking about actionable step on what to do in your policy, and the procedure is how it should be carried out. And that takes me down to how to build an IR policy. I'll be very fast here because I've taken much of your time, and so that we'll be able to just go straight to the practical aspect of IR policy on Windows. The first thing you want to do as a CISO, this then necessarily does not assign to maybe a SOC analyst level 1 or a cybersecurity analyst level 1, but this goes straight to speak straight to the CISO, the if you're a manager, if you're probably head of IT department. These are the things you need to understand, because it really it kind of defines your incident response process and how to go about IRP in your organizations. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to get a management buy-in. You want to create an effective incident response policy by starting to understand the role of the management and securing their commitment. Firstly, you want to know that, okay, who are the people in this that needs to be notified about this incident response. And these are like the top guys in the organizations, the CISO, the legal team as well are also involved in this part. Then number two, the thing you want to do is to define the scope and the purpose, and as well as the objective of your incident response. Now you want to define what the policy applies to, such as maybe your system, IT infrastructures. You want to define which applications you are trying to protect, or which data. It could be credit card. Your company is focused on credit card, or maybe customers' information, maybe personal identifiable information, right? And what you are trying to protect, and what exactly constitutes an incident. Now, for some organizations, brute force attack more than 5 times or 3 times, or maybe wrong password more than 3 times or 4 times might not constitute an incident. But for some organization, or for some certain kind of maybe applications that you are running, or web servers that you are running, if there is a kind of like an event that has gotten up to a certain threshold, then it constitutes an incident. So you need to understand in the policy what your incident constitutes as an organization. What makes up an incident in your organizations? And different organizations has different definition to what makes up an incident. Now, the next thing is assigning roles and responsibilities, right? And also the fourth stage is determining the incident response classification and severity levels. To you, it might be high, it might be low, it might be medium. If it's a kind of maybe a phishing attack, it's might be a high priority incident based on the organization actually. And the last one, which is number 5, is establish communication procedure, both internally and externally. Now, this is very, very important. Now, during a cyber attack, there's a need for you to establish communication with stakeholders. There's a need for you to establish communication with the media. There's a need for you to also establish communication with the employees of the organization itself. Then how do you build an incident response plan? Number 1, I have 4 steps here outlined here. Number 1, what you want to do is you want to understand what the policy entails. And I have kind of explained that in the previous slides. You need to understand what the policy entails. What kind of data are you trying to protect? Who are the people involved, right? Now, based on the people that are involved, you will now kind of like design a what's the right word here? Like roles and responsibility for each of these teams that are involved. Now, as you can see, there's a picture here showing on the screen, which shows the RSI matrix on how to kind of like assign roles and responsibilities to different departments. We have the CTI, which is the cyber threat intelligence team. We have the SOC, and we have the incident response. So for the actions here, you can see those that prepare and tune the detection mechanism. What are they do? These guys are responsible for preparing and tuning the detection mechanism, like creating playbooks. That is what they do, like creating playbooks, making sure that the injection system is working well, making sure that the detection system is working well, and be able to accommodate events, as well as pop up a better better incident on the same platform, because you don't want to have a lot of false positives, which kind of desensitize the SOC team and the IR team as well. So as you can see, the second one says consulting. These are the guys that you consult when it comes to preparing anti detection mechanism. I have a lot of actions here, and the roles and responsibilities of each of these guys. We used to be informed, we used to be consulted. And if you have maybe like a kind of like a managed service security provider in place, you can also put in their own responsibilities in this RASI matrix, and kind of include ways to be informed and ways to be consulted, basically. And the plan overview, which is the incident response process. Now, according to NIST 861, we have 4 high-level incident response processes, right? We have the preparation stage, which is the stage where you do vulnerability management, vulnerability testing, the stage where you do training, the stage where you make sure that your same platform is working properly. So that's just the preparation phase itself. Now, detection and analysis, it kind of involves 2 different processes. Detection first, you want to make sure that your detection platform is able to detect threats easily. And remember, for the preparation stage, there are 2 KPIs that you need to put in the preparation stage. Number 1, the recovery time objective, and number 2, the recovery point objective. Now, recovery time objective is basically maybe how much time it takes for the critical system to be down. And the recovery point objective is how much of data you are willing to lose within that specific time frame. RTO and RPO. So for the preparation phase, the KPI that must be in your preparation phase is the RTO, which is the recovery time of objective, and the RPO, which is the recovery point of objective. So for example, let's say if your RPO now, the recovery point of objective is like 1 hour, then the system, let me say the system should be back up every 1 hour, meaning that's the 1 hour of data loss that is acceptable in case of failure. And for RTO, it means, okay, we can only be out of system, we can only be out of operation for 4 hours. Anything after 4 hours will destroy the company completely. And then another stage itself is after detection and analysis is after detecting the alert, you want to be sure if it's a true positive, you want to be sure if it's a true negative, definitely you want to be sure if it's a false positive. And that is where the analysis stage comes into play. That is where the SOC team comes into play. That is where they kind of investigate alerts. Is this a true positive? Then if it's a true positive, the next thing happens. It goes to the next stage of the incident response process, which is containment, eradication, and recovery. So what do you want to do here? At this stage, basically, you want to make sure you minimize downtime. Containment, basically just trying to, could be disabling the user that is affected, could be putting the system on a separate, segmented VLAN, something like that. The affected system on a separate segmented VLAN. And for the eradication itself, is just like, removing the actual malware from the system. Now your system is affected, a malware is being installed, eradication is taking it out from the system, and recovery is bringing the system back to life. For this stage, at this stage, you want to measure a certain KPI. You want to make sure that you measure the MTTR, which is mean time to remediate. Some people call it mean time to recover or whatever, but mean time to remediate or mean time to recover. You want to make sure you have a time at which, yes, this you've been able to respond to the incident, the time you've been able to delete the malware, the time you've been able to bring back the disabled user back online, the time you've been able to revoke logon sessions, things like that. So this is where you bring in the MTTR KPI. And then the final stage of the incident response process, which is here, we have the post-incident activity, which is basically talking about the lessons learned, what have you done so far, how to better improve your incident response plan. Now, this is an incident response procedural framework that I got from Kaspersky. It's just like defining the step-by-step guide, step-by-step process that you need to follow to respond to a certain incident. So this one is basically for web monitoring. So let's say your data now as a company is being maybe sold or is being mentioned, or something related to your company is being mentioned on the dark web. You will receive an alert on the same platform that this is what is going on, and you'll be able to just follow this process, this procedure. So procedural workflow itself is just how you should do it. And you can see here, we have the preparation phase, which I've talked about, verifying the dark web monitoring to be sure if it's a false positive, if it's a true positive. Then threat identification, attacker's profile, threat evaluation, down to extraction of artifacts, and straight down to the investigation part. And this is where now see this number 6, it says raising an incident. Now this is where the SOC team raise an incident and incident response guys come into play. This is where they kind of like do some analysis just to be sure, do some system run keys, check the event viewer to kind of like remove the actual malware responding to the incident itself. I will provide this slide to CyberGuard Launch after this training, so you can reach out to them and have a better look on the slide. Please make sure you run the link I sent to you. Please, have you done that? Because very soon I'll be going I'll be going straight down to how to run IR on Windows. Have you done that? Please, I want to see your comment section. Have you? It's not running on my laptop. Are you using a Mac or a Windows laptop? Anybody having the same problem, please? Please, I need your response. I need your response. Anybody having the same issue? Yeah, you can run on your laptop later. Yep. Okay. All right. Just make sure you run the batch file, because that is what I will be using to kind of like simulate a real cyber attack and going through the IR process as well. Now, why a cyber incident response framework matters. One is to ensure swift action to restore systems and resume operations, definitely. Number two, to limit costs associated with breaches, including fines, downtime, and ransom payments. You want to maintain trust with clients. They want to be sure your data is safe. They want to be sure in case of an incident, you can, easily come back, get back on track and get back to your basic operation, and also to make sure that their data are safe with you, and also enable effective communication. And the last one is provides clear roles and responsibilities and workflows, reducing confusion during a crisis. And I have this scenario. Imagine you receive an urgent call from your IT team in the middle of the night, and they informed you that all systems are down, right? None of the critical applications are running. Panic setting as you realize that this is not just a routine issue. Upon investigation, you discovered that your servers or systems have been encrypted by ransomware, and all your files are locked with a ransom note demanding payment or threatening to sell all your information on the dark web. Now, but it gets worse. You soon learn that the threat actors were able to move laterally across the network, compromising additional systems and spreading the ransomware further. Sensitive data, including customers' information, intellectual properties, and confidential documents, could now be at risk of exposure. What would you do, and who would you notify? Now, these are two questions that you do not want to ask yourself in the middle of an incident. Now, once you ask yourself these two questions in the middle of an incident, then there is especially the second one, which is who would you notify? There is a possibility that you won't be able to respond to the incident effectively. Now, in the middle of an incident, most companies kind of have their maybe communication team contact, their incident response team information, contact information somewhere on the network. Could be variably via email, could be via another platform that they use for communication. But what if nothing is working? What would you do? That is why it's recommended to have a printed copy, or somewhere on your phone, you need to have the incident response team contact on your phone. You either have it on your phone or have it printed somewhere in the organization where it's kind of confidential and only those that are approved to get to it can actually have access to it, or you have it somewhere on your phone, because in the middle of an incident, when nothing is working, you should be able to have the contact of everybody in the IR team. And who are those that are supposed to be in the IR team? That are very, very important. Number one, this is very, very important, because if at least these four teams are not on the IR framework, there's every possibility that whatever is happening to your company at that moment, people will make it up. Now, the first one is the cyber policy and governance team. Now, these are the legal teams. These are the guys that, the legal teams, the HR teams. These are the manager, the top level guys in the organizations, basically the risk management officer, the GRC guys. These are the guys that are in the cyber policy and governance teams. Now, number two, which is very, very important, the cyber communications and public relation teams. This is very important because in the middle of an incident, you have different entities. We have different departments that could be affected. And you need to put whatever is happening at that moment, whatever is wrong. Yes, you're in the middle of an incident, something is wrong, your data has been breached. You have to put everything together and make sure you have one voice in the media. So you don't say different things, because if you don't feed the beast, they will definitely find something to say, or they will make it up by themselves, or there's somebody in the media trying to contact an employee of the organizations, trying to talk to them, trying to get different stories from them, and before you know it, they will make it up. Or the threat actors by themselves will go to the media and make the whole story up. So in the middle of an incident, you want to make sure that your cyber communication and public relation teams are also active. Whatever is going on, they push to the media. Immediately, they push to the media. Let whatever is going on be straight from the company, not people making it up, because you are not giving them the right information, the immediate information they need. Now, number 3 is the cyber infrastructure response and recovery team. And of course, these are the technical guys. These are the guys that are unplugging things. These are the guys that are deleting malware. These are the guys that are, the database administrator guys, the IT team, the IR team, the digital forensic and incident response team, and the SOC guys. You want to make sure these guys are there. So basically, these are the technical guys. And number 4, the cyber support team. Now, these are the guys that communicate with the customer. While you are trying to mitigate, the cyber incident response team are trying to mitigate, they are also documenting, the cyber support team are documenting what is going on so that they will be able to feed their customers with the right information. And yeah, I believe that's it basically for the whole overview of incident response. And effective incident response is not just about reacting to a security breach. It's about preparation, is about coordination, is about continuous improvement. And you don't just want to have a procedure or a playbook in place. You want to make sure that you have a policy, one, which is a high-level document. You want to make sure that you have a plan, and you want to make sure you have a coordinated response and a procedure on how to go about your incident response. Thank you very much, everyone. And yep, I'm not done yet. It's time to get our hands dirty. And I just want to make sure we great presentation so far. All right. So the files are bat files for Windows as a loan. Okay. For the session. Has anybody been able to run the batch file, please? Has anybody been able to run the batch files? Hello, Mr. Dipo, are you there?
Yes, I am there.
All right.
I'm
So
fully with you.
Okay.
No, personally, I've not been able to do that because there's some other support I'm rendering in the background. So it will not allow me to do that personally. I intend to do that after the whole event because of some logistics I'm handling from my own end. Yeah.
All right. That's fine then. That's fine then. So I will just kind of like show us some simulation on my system then.
But it's like somebody made mention of maybe bat file or something with maybe Mac operating system as against the Windows. I don't know. I saw a message from Sama who said something like that. So I'm not so sure.
Yes, Salman, it's a bat file for Windows alone. It doesn't work on Mac or any other operating system. Because for the purpose of this training, we'll only be doing incident response on Windows and not on Mac or Linux or web server, just basically on Windows. Can you please shed more light on what you mean by bash drive? Okay, Olabi, can you there's a link I sent earlier. I will send the link again. There's a link I sent earlier. If you are just joining, please I will send the link again. Make sure you click on that link and run the setup underscore trustme.bat file, not the remove.bat, but the setup underscore trustme. While you guys are doing that, now let's go to incident response proper. And like I said, I'll be focusing on incident response on Windows for us. Now, in the middle of an incident, or if there is a malware on your system, there are three important things that you want to focus on. Now, the answers to these three important things, or should I say the answers to these questions, can then influence the direction of the analysis or determine whether it should continue or not. Number one, is there a malware that is actively in the system? Number two, is there any suspicious internal or external communication? And number three, is there persistence? Because if there is a malware or anything malicious that is actively running in the system, for the first point, you may conduct a barcode analysis to investigate, number one, how it came there in the first place. And the easiest way to do this is conducting a process analysis. I will teach you how to do a process analysis in the upcoming slides. And so let's say, for example, now you have a Chrome process running. And under that Chrome process, you have a PowerShell.exe file running under a Chrome process. So that's kind of looks suspicious, because why will a PowerShell script be running under a Chrome process? So number one is process analysis, and I'll be teaching us how to do that based on malware that are actively running on the system. And number two, is there any suspicious internal or external communication? So is there an attacker? One thing an attacker wants to do, or threat actor wants to do, is to always make sure they talk to your to your system remotely, and they want to make sure that they interact with your system irrespective of maybe the time, irrespective of the protection in place. And most importantly, what they want to do at this phase is extraction of data via maybe a port or via a malicious IP address. And the last one, which is persistence. Now, they might not be able to finish their action and objective at the first exploit after getting access to your system. They might not be able to do that. So they want to maintain persistence. And how do they do that? They do that by maybe when your system comes back online, there's a malware running underneath, or malware running somewhere in the startup folder or in your run kit that automatically picks up, and they have access to your system from there. So they want to make sure that here they stay in your network, they stay in your system, they stay in your server for a long period of time for them to be able to achieve their aims and objectives. Now, live memory analysis. And that's one of the most effective ways to detect malicious activity running on a system is through memory analysis. So if an attacker is remotely accessing the system, or either stealing data or interacting with it in some way, there is a process that is facilitating it. So just like the Zoom that you are running on your system right now, there is a process running for that. The Chrome that is on your system running right now, there is a process running for that. So every application running on your system, there is always a process attached to it. And there are three critical points that you must pay attention to when you are doing process analysis. Now, you are in the middle of an attack. A system has been breached. A Windows system, to be precise, has been breached. There are three things you want to do. One, memory analysis, and which is part of, is there a malware that is actively running in the system? Is there any suspicious internal or external communication, or is there any persistence? And that is where memory analysis comes into play. So for the memory analysis, there are three critical points that you must pay attention to while conducting the memory analysis. Number one is the process tree. Number two is the network communication. And number three is the signature status. I need to run. So there is an application that you can use for process analysis. Auto runs on Windows. Let me spin that up right now. System informer, just 1 minute, please. Okay, so I'm back to screen. So the three things you want to check is, number one, the process tree, the network communication, and the signature status. Hello? Okay.
Yes, we're with you.
Oh, perfect. So now there's this application called System Informer, or you can just kind of like Google Windows process tools. You would see it should be one of the first tools for that would pop up on the system, or just kind of like search for System Informer. Now, what this does is it will show you all the running processes that are currently running on your system. As you can see, I have different processes running at the moment. I have different processes running at the moment. I have Microsoft Edge, and this could be because I opened different tabs at the moment, and Zoom as well, which is running. You know, Opera Mini browser, which is also running. So for every applications running on your system, there will always be a process. Now, what do you need to be focused on in here? I said the process tree, the network communication, and signature status. Now, going to the process tree is more like checking which the parent process and the child process. I have a screenshot of something like that in here. Yep. So this is a web browser process, a web server process running, and we have PowerShell process running under it. Now, it might not be suspicious, it might not be an attack, it might not be a malicious process, but now there is a need for you to kind of like analyze why would a PowerShell be running under this web server process. Now, you now checking what is going on with the PowerShell, like the command it's running, which is who am I and net user. That would now determine if it's actually a malicious process or not. Now, going back to okay, let me try to run the script again. I have some processes I pre-designed here. I want to make sure they are running. I don't know why I'm not seeing them on. Okay. Okay, so one thing you want to focus on here is one, the verification status. And the description. Hello, can anyone hear me? Oh my God.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Oh my God. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
We can hear you. Can
Hello?
you hear us?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can
Oh,
hear
perfect.
you.
Perfect.
No, due to the time frame,
Yep.
in Nigeria, we have to break our fast soon, please.
Okay, all right, all right. So now these are the processes running at the moment. What you want to check is the chat process, and you also want to check the network tab. Now, this is important because you can see we have the remote port. We have the
Huh? Who is that?
sorry. Now we have the local address and the remote address. Now this is more like my own IP address, which is this, the local address. These are the local addresses from my system. This is my IP address for my system, which is 192.168.1.05. And this is the address, the IP address I'm talking to. Now, this process right now is talking to this IP address.
Bellamy.
Now, for you,
Bellamy.
somebody is disrupting the, yeah. So this remote address right here is the address your system is talking to. So in the middle of a breach, let's say, you know, a process is running, a malicious process is running, you have to spin up your system informer process hacking tools and check which of these IP addresses here are not associated with the company's IP address or allowed IP addresses that are authorized. You can now copy this IP address and then maybe use abuse IPDB or use virus total to check the legitimacy of the IP address. And you can also see here if there is an established communication or not. So this is how to do process analysis. You want to check the network tab and you want to check not just the parent process, but as well as the child processes as well. You want to check the child processes as well. I'll be very fast now. So another part you want to check is the users. Now, why is this important? Because threat actors kind of use this for maintaining persistence. What they do is they create a user, maybe if they have access to, you're able to breach a maybe administrator's system or administrator's account. What they now do from there is, because most administrator systems are kind of like, they are being monitored. If the system has a privilege that is above all other users in the system, or a user has a privilege that is above all other systems and all other users in the company, the companies tends to focus more on that user because it has more privilege to maybe create or delete some certain informations. So what threat actors do is, once they have access to administrators' accounts, they create users. They create users and assign maybe add them to a certain group or assign administrator privilege to that user. Now I'll be teaching us how to go about analyzing users events to check if a user has been created, to check if a user has been created before or deleted. And that is the importance of event ID 4720. Or you can easily just spin up your CMD. If you're able to run that batch file, you can spin up your command line. That is, if you are able to run that batch file, you can spin up your command line and type net user. Once you type in net user, now it's going to show you the list of users you have. Now, administrator, which is me here, is Bayul. That's me, and this is a guest account. And immediately now, the batch file I sent to you guys to run, that batch file contains a script that will automatically create a user. And this is what happens when maybe users click on a wrong link or a phishing link. At the background, something would happen. Threat actors can easily do something like this on your system and you wouldn't know. Now, while running that batch file, it created these two users, which is CyberGuard Lounge and Support Me. If you can check, for those that are able to run that script, you should be able to see something like that of your system. You should be able to see something like that on your system. CyberGuard Lounge and Support Me once you track net users. But what if threat actors, after maybe after creating a user, they maybe install the malware on that on a certain system and they delete the user? How will you be able to know that there was something happened initially? Maybe there was a member that was added to a security enabled group, or there was a user that was created. And that is where event viewer or event logs come into play. Now you can go on your system, search for event viewer. These are tools that are already pre-built on Microsoft Windows. If you search for event viewer on your search box somewhere on your system, on your Microsoft Windows, let me bring that here. Then goes down to Windows log, security. So these are, logons, event logs popping up on the system. Somebody tries to log in, somebody input a wrong password. Everything are all here. Now, there's a certain ID that you want to look out for, which is, now you can now click on this filter current logs. Then you can now maybe then that's event ID 4720. 470. Let's speed it up and let's filter the current logs. Now, see what happens here. It says on the 27th of March 2025 at exactly 17:28, something happened. Now, when I click on this first log, it will show me what happened, which is this user here, the administrator account, which is me, created a user, Cyber G Lounge. You see? So from the event ID 4720, you'll be able to see what happened, even if the threat actor has deleted the user that he created by using net user. You'll be able to see, but with the event log, you'll be able to see it on the system, past event, past user creation. So you can see here, account name Bayu created another support user called Support Me. And that is how to make sure you analyze if truly there was, an event that happened previously. Maybe a threat actor tried to create a user and they have deleted it using event ID 4720. And for event ID 4732, that would enable you to see if, let me just run it in here, 4732. That will enable you to see if that user has been added to a certain group. So you created a user and he added that user to a certain group, or he kind of like escalates the privilege of that user. With event ID 472, you will be able to see that. Back to the slide. I've already shown this to us here. Now, another way threat actors maintain persistence or run malware automatically is through task scheduler, which is a widely used persistence techniques by attackers, and to kind of like create scheduled tasks and also it's to identify suspicious scheduled tasks running on your system. There are several methods available, and one effective approach is to use auto runs, which is a tool from system internals, which helps in detecting active scheduled tasks. And note, when we do not have many scheduled tasks, we can check each one individually. However, if we have a large number of scheduled tasks and time is of essence, we can start by eliminating tasks that lacks a publisher. While the presence of a publisher does not guarantee trustworthiness, tasks without a publisher are more likely to be suspicious. So I will spin up the auto run tool right now. You can just search auto run on your Google browser, and you can easily just download it. It's a Windows enabled tool that you can easily use for Windows incident response. Now, for you to be able to know if there is a wrong or if there is a malicious task running on your system, you have to verify at least the publisher. You have to know if it's verified, if the publisher is verified. That is one way to narrow down which task scheduler is a malicious task. And as you can see from here, who can tell me which of these scheduled tasks here is malicious? Which of them, or how many of them is malicious? You can pop that in the comment section. Which of the processes here is not verified? Now, the name of the process, I have at least few processes here that are not verified. Good, trust me. Good. So these are the three processes that are not verified: Cyber Launch updates, Hybrid update, and Microsoft and Micro Launch. How do I know that? Via the publisher. So another place you want to check is this, because there's every possibility that threat actors, after creating a scheduled task, they delete it immediately, just for you not to be aware that something has happened. Now, this is what IR also do. They check the event viewer. We check the event viewer, which is event ID 4698, for a scheduled task was created. So even if they have deleted the previous scheduled task they created, you should be able to see any scheduled task via event ID 4698 and event ID 4702. There's every possibility that they pick up a scheduled task already existing on your system and they attach their own malicious file to it. Now, remember the auto run I showed you earlier. See, the auto run I showed you earlier, the image part says c/trustme/malicious.bat. Now, this malicious.bat file, there's a need for me to go back into my system and look out for what that bat file is running. If I go back to my system right now, see, it says C users. Let me go back to auto run. It says C trust me app malicious.bat. So I have to follow that part. C trust me app. This is the malicious file running on the system as at the time of the attack. Now I need to right click on this and check what this bat file is running. Now, what this guy is trying to do is he's trying to create a user called user admin, the password admin123, and assign administrator privilege to this user, basically. That is what this user file is, but don't worry, it's not going to do that on your system. It's just a simulation. So this is how you kind of like, get to know what kind of malicious file the malicious process is running. That is what auto-run will do for you. It will show you the publisher. If it's verified, then that's kind of create a suspicious mindset and the part of the malicious process. So you want to check event ID 4698. Let us do that on our system. You should be able to run event viewer at least. So you come back to the security logs and you click on filter current logs. Then you type in event ID 4698. Good. Now I'm unable to see it here because the way I did the batch script is not like it's running under a certain process or a certain application is running that is spilling up the task scheduler. Sure you get. So you can only see it on the auto run platform. But in a normal cyber attack, in a normal cybersecurity incident, there will always be a log for a task scheduler using event ID 4698. And if there is a scheduler that was actually updated, you need to use event ID 4702, right on the slide here. Now, another way threat actors maintain persistence. Remember, we've talked about process analysis, which is checking through the processes and which ports or which IP or remote IP the network the process is talking to. So it's more like checking who is talking to the system and who the system is talking to. That is one thing about process analysis. And the next one we talked about was task scheduler. They kind of like create a task on your system. We also talked about net user, where they kind of like create users and elevate their privilege, basically for privilege escalation. And now another one is run keys. Now for system startups, sometimes what happens is when threat actors kind of like come up with a run keys. Run keys are like specific registries entities that allows programs to execute automatically when a user logs in. So automatically when you switch on your system, there is something running like in a startup folder on your system that kind of spin up application automatically. So there are some application on your system that spins up automatically. And that is why threat actors use run keys or startup folder to maintain persistence in your system. After you delete the malware, after you delete the the malicious process running on your system, after you delete the user, they use run keys to bring that back up. So there are specific folder on the system that you can actually check, which is right in here. I won't be going deep into that because of the time. And why do hackers use run keys? I already said that maintain persistence, to invent detection, to reinfect your system. Because after you do the whole cleaning, you do the whole scanning, your system is clean. With run keys, they can always come back to maintain persistence. And that's it. And the last one as well. So for run keys, now I'm going to use the same tools, which is auto runs. One sweet thing about auto run is it has a lot of tabs for you to check through if they are. Now we've got the Explorer session and the logon session. So these are auto runs entries that are running on your system whenever your system comes back online. Now who can identify here? Now yesterday I purposely did something. I installed an application, a fake application on my system which is more like a cracked version of an application on this Windows system. Now, who can identify? First thing you want to check here is the publisher. Is it verified? If not, then there is a need for you to check. Now, imagine you have tons of, tons of auto runs running on the system, thousands of auto runs. With you checking the publisher, you'll be able to verify that here, this is not an acceptable run keys. So from this tab showing here, who can tell me which of these run keys are malicious? Anybody?
Sorry, I didn't quite get the question. If you can repeat that, please.
All right. I said from what is going on the auto run platform. Now, initially I showed us the schedule task, which was this tab here. And we were able to identify malicious tasks that are scheduled on the system. Now, for you to identify run keys running on your system, you need to go to the logon tab. Now, which of these run keys, which of them is malicious or are malicious?
There's three number.
And ID man.
Backdoor, trust me, and the one at the top, which is I can see man, but I'm using phone.
Okay, perfect.
But
So we have
man.
exactly, we have IDM. Now, IDM is an application itself. I know most of us know IDM, Internet Download Manager. So I downloaded this IDM yesterday from a cracked website for the purpose of this training. You can see it saying not verified, and others that are verified are saying Microsoft Windows, Google Chrome, which is verified, Google LLC. So by having a non-verified publisher, that should create a suspicious auto run. That this auto run is not an acceptable run key, and you can then start your investigation from there. How you can then check the image part. Where is this application? The part which is trustme.exe. This one as well, which is in the this startup folder. Now remember, I said another way they do that is they drop something like a backdoor in your startup folder. For those that were able to run that, run the key, if you go to this file, this part on your system, see program data, Microsoft Windows, start menu, programs, startup, you will see this backdoor.exe running on your system. Then you can maybe delete it, remove the malware, and that's it. So common rockings location in Windows registry. We have for current user, we have the HKey current user, software, Microsoft Windows, current version run. If you go to the auto run, you will see something like that here. Current version run. And for run once, it's just for them to kind of like run the run key once on your system. Basically, that's what it means. So this part here is for current user, and this part here is for all users if you want to check for all users. And for running programs once at the next login, you want to check this part basically. Like I said, runs execute the programs every time the user logs in. The entry remains in the registry permanently unless manually removed. And run once execute the program only once at the next login. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending this session. And before we go, I have a short quiz for us. Yeah. And I want everyone to participate. I have just 5 questions here. Just 5 questions, and it says, let me just start this now. And Okay. So I'll send a link to the chat box right now. The one colored backdoor and IDM. Well done. Thank you, Kodri. So I just sent a link in the comment section, in the comment box. Try to click on it and it will take you straight down here. Or just copy the code showing on the screen. Okay. All right, Danny, you're welcome. DA. I'm ending this soon. I'm ending it soon. The next 1 minute. Okay. I'm ending this right now. Well done, Danny. Well done. Okay, thank you everyone for participating. Okay. Is Danny the same as DA? No. So the first position is DA, Danny, and
DA is
Tosin.
Dipo Adeumi.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Any question?
Wow, this is great. Can you all hear me, please?
Hello?
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hello? We can hear you.
Yeah, BC, we can hear you perfectly.
Wow. Hello, everyone. That's you can all agree with me. That's a very insightful training, really hands-on. Many thanks to Olabisi, Olajide for this wonderful session. We really enjoy it. It's been a wonderful session. Hi, Olabisi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I had to switch to my Mac laptop. I don't know what's wrong with the Windows system. Probably some malware.
Toby.
So malicious
Toby,
softwares.
that's an excellent presentation. The presentation was spot on. The hands-on was quite insightful. We really had a great time. Thank you so much. And I must say it proudly, for that quiz competition, the DA is actually Jipo Adewumi. So I came top.
And the position is not going straight to you then.
Why? Why? So I actually came top in your quiz competition. So I should get in touch with you for my gold medal. So I deserve my gold medal. So just tell me when you are going to give me my gold medal.
No problem.
Really, to be candid, we appreciate your presentation, really spot on, the deliverable, very excellent, and the hands-on, quite practical and detailed, and we so much enjoy it. Thank you so very much. I could see Kelechi's hand up. Kelechi, do you have something to say briefly?
Yes, I have a question for the speaker, please.
All right.
I know you have a question. I'm going to be a bit partial, or let's say biased towards you, because I'm just thinking how I'm going to handle question and answer session because of the time we've spent. Initially, we planned to use 1.5 hours for the entire program, but now we are way beyond 2 hours. But nevertheless, I will still allow you to ask your question, but just go straight to the point. And I'm afraid if I will not, I'm not sure if I'll be able to address other questions. I don't know because of the time. But Kelechi, you can go straight to your question, please.
Okay, thank you. To the speaker, nice presentation. Thank you so much. My question is for the auto runs and the process hacker you just displayed so far. How do we integrate these things in SPOG, that is single pane of glass, in our SIM solutions? Thank you.
Okay, I think I saw something like that from somebody has a question like that in the chat section. So now that is where SOC engineer comes in, right? These are the guys that do the whole, or the CTI guys. These are the guys that do the whole ingestion. Now there's something called what's the right word here? There's something called integration of in such a way that whatever is popping up on the EDR platforms also show on the same platform. Whatever is going on any system also show on the same platform. So there's a way to connect that via like on Microsoft now, for example, Azure Sentinel. There's a way to connect that via log analytics workspace and creating playbooks. And basically, there's a kind of way that SOC engineers do it, and not necessarily SOC analysts, but SOC engineers, where they kind of ingest everything into a single point, everything that comes into your EDR, everything that is coming from your system, everything that is coming from your server, points down to the EDR. Some kind of used webhook to integrate into a single point, and some kind of just use some kind of applications basically. So, but for Microsoft Sentinel, I'm very sure there are like logic apps that you can install. Let me say I want to ingest logs from AWS IAM, or I want to ingest log from EC2, from AWS EC2 instance. There is a logic app that you can install on Microsoft Sentinel. Once you install that logic app, then there are some certain feelings that you need to put in. Those informations like maybe a certain URL, the URN for your EC2, some inputs basically. Then once you do that, automatically you start receiving logs from that maybe EDR or from the web server or the IAM on the same platform. But mostly those that do these are the SOC engineers, those that design the whole playbooks, writing of playbooks, writing of threat intelligence workbook queries, basically. Is that all right, Kelechi?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Amazing. Thank you so very much, Kelechi, for that beautiful question. And of course, an excellent answers by Olabisi. Thank you so very much. Really, it's been a very interesting session. And if you don't mind, I have my own question. And my question is, I know you're a mathematician. So how is it like transiting from being a mathematician to being a cybersecurity expert? Because I know as a mathematician, you are training all those differentiation, integration, the numeric analysis, first order differentiation and all that, and second order. So just tell me a little about that.
Well, we all know mathematics is more like the bedrock of IT itself, right? Everything run on mathematics. Applications run on mathematics. But one way or the other, we all are practicing mathematics. If you're a cybersecurity person, you are trying to deal with Python, you are dealing with mathematics, but not directly. Now, while I have not really practiced mathematics, and this is one of the questions a lot of people ask me. Sometimes there was a day I told somebody I was 300 level and he asked me the same question. And mathematics level of issue, it means the guy was like, the only work you can do is to go and teach. be a lecturer or be a mathematics teacher and things like that. I was like, there are a lot of things that are attached. But initially, before I transitioned into IT, I first transitioned into web development, and that was when something like the cybersecurity caught my attention. Now, I'm very, very good with website. I design a lot of websites for clients, but I don't understand something called secure development, something like that. So I just designed a website and it's vulnerable. I don't care. So far, you can visit About Us, you can visit the contacts page and all those things. Now, there was a day one of the clients I created a website for, I think their website crashed. So I reached out to the hosting provider and they said website itself is vulnerable. That was when cybersecurity caught my attention. I was also a victim of a phishing attack years back. An organization at Rotoms where, as a IT service desk analyst, I really do not, some of us just get into the job, especially. So I'm sorry to say in Nigeria, no full or proper training. So I, just got started. I received an email, boom, I click on the link, and automatically, I couldn't have access to cPanel anymore. The company's cPanel anymore. Threat actors was able to, do a whole lot of things. So back then, fast forward to 2022. Before 2022, I started doing some personal training, attend trainings like these, boot camps, and fast forward to 2022, I came for my master's in cybersecurity here in the UK, and I was opportune to have an internship opportunity at Cyblack, just like you did, Mr. Deep, and that was when I met this wonderful soul. And after that, Cyblack, where they were able to maintain me as a mentor for maybe upcoming SOC analyst or incident responder. So there's some kind of like personal or one-to-one training that I do for some SOC analyst or incident responder at the moment. Yeah, and if you want me to take you on board, I can maybe give you some certain informations for those that are looking up to maybe becoming a SOC analyst or incident responder. I have some resources that I can provide you that would help you in your journey. You can reach out to Mr. Depo, reach out to Cyber Guard Lounge on LinkedIn, or reach out to me personally on my LinkedIn page, and I will take it up from there. And yeah, cybersecurity has been awesome. It has been great. I've been enjoying it so far.
Thank you so very much for that. I am really impressed by your expertise, to be candid. I know Endurance Imaswell has indicated to ask a question, even though I intend to draw the curtain at this moment. But I will only give her the chance to ask question. Sorry about all other people who wants to ask question that may not have the opportunity to do so today. So Endurance, you have the floor, please.
Right, thank you very much. Quickly, I just want to ask if there are tools that have been made already to use to work as an incident response tool,
If they are what?
or
Sorry.
there are tools, if there are tools, just like the code that you sent to us, that you asked us to run on our computer.
Okay.
So I just want to know, yeah, if there are already made tools that we can use in any organization, or do we have to create ours? That's question number one. Then the other question is, if penetration testing is it different from incident response team? What's the difference basically? Thank you. And which one is more technical? Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dikbo, can you give answer to the second question? Penetration testing different from incident response? Or do you want me
All right. Yeah. Okay. I
answer
can do
to
that.
Okay.
The penetration testing is majorly identifying the vulnerability in the system, and the way cyber attack or cybersecurity risk incident happen is attacker identify vulnerabilities or loophole in any system and try to exploit it. That's a combination of vulnerability and threats leads to a potential security attack. So penetration testing is to test the system and look at those security control gaps, vulnerabilities in the system or in the network, and try to exploit it. So as a pen tester, your role is to take that proactive approach to identify those vulnerabilities, then highlight it and report it to the network owners or the business owners so that they can take proactive steps to control, in other words, to implement effective control to improve the security posture of the organization. Now, when you look at the incident response is basically, look, we have put in all the controls. We have done all the necessary checks and all that. And we feel, well, to a large extent, our network is secure. However, despite all the security controls being in place, things can still go wrong. That's why you see in any typical organization, there is no network that is 100% completely protected. No network in this world is 100% is perfect. No, security can still be breached one way or the other. So the role of incident response is when the chips are down, when the eventuality happens. In other words, when the security is eventually breached, what we should do. So that is the role. That's the difference between pen testing and incident response. I hope I'm able to clarify that for you.
Just to add to
Thank you
what
very much. Thank you very much.
When a pen testing basically proactive, incident response is reactive. Is after the incident. Then pen testing is before the incident. And mostly pen testing are, you can do that on the system. Mostly they do pen testing on web servers, web applications, things like that. So just know that proactive and reactive. And the first one is, do companies develop their own tools, or do they use existing tools out there? Okay, I was late today. I couldn't join the meeting earlier. I went to BT's office here in Belfast. And we were talking about their tools and everything. They have existing tools that they are using already, and this is just part of the tools. These are part of the tools they are using. They don't come up with their own SIM platforms. They don't come up with their own, maybe IAM platform. They use existing platforms. They don't come up with their own cloud platforms. They use existing platforms like the Microsoft, like the AWS guys. Now, for these tools that I use at the moment, these auto run tools, the process hacker tools, these are exactly the same tools that you will use on the job. You will use process hacker, you will use CMD line. I think
Wow.
on the slide, there is a place I put some, or I would update the slide and Mr. Depo will share with you. I would kind of like update, put in some command that you can run to maybe, you know, for analysis sake. You want to check on you know, schedule tasks, you want to check on run keys, you want to check on net users, you want to check you know, if there is a system talking to your system, because there's every possibility that you are talking to a certain system, but the system is talking to you. And that system is not meant to be talking to you. It could be an attacker talking to you, but you are definitely talking to another system within your network because you are meant to talk to that server. You are meant to talk to that system. But a system is talking to you that is not supposed to be talking to you. There's a need to check, why is this system talking to me? Is this an attacker trying to talk to me? And there are ways to see that via a command line. So these tools I showed us now, auto run, I will list everything at the end of the slide. I will share it with CyberGuard Lounge, and they will probably share it with everybody that registered. So you will be able to download those tools with a single click and test it. Now the batch file, you can always, you know, create home lab too as well, where you make, you know, the home lab vulnerable, install some vulnerability, some vulnerable application, and you know, things spins up. You can now start doing an analysis or use that batch file. The reason why I came up with that batch file is, now that batch file is not malicious. It's just putting things in place so that you can, just to simulate an attack basically, but not really necessarily an attack. So but I don't know why that batch file is not running. It would have been better if you guys were able to run the batch file. It will be, the class would have been more interactive. But since I got a lot of negative comment about the batch file, I will check it and I will try to run it on another system. If it works perfect on another system, I think that was a mistake I made. I used my system alone. I should have done that on another system and see if it runs perfectly. If it does, I will share it with Mr. Depo and I will tell him to, you know, to maybe share it with you guys alongside the slides.
Well, thank you very much, Ola BC and Endurance. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you very
Guys,
much, sir.
we really want to appreciate everyone for attending this training. You can all testify to the fact that it's been really insightful and the event has been really interesting as well. We initially planned for 1.5 hours, and lo and behold, we are well above 2 hours, which shows that the content is rich and people even stick till the end. That's really remarkable. So you, our attendees, are our VIP for today. We do appreciate you. And most especially, I want to thank my dear brother, Olabisi Olajide, for training us on this event. Thank you so very much. I have no doubt that your expertise in incident response is top notch. I remember one of the projects that we did together, how you develop an incident response playbook. It was so fascinating, quite appealing. Even the aesthetic value was superb. Thank you very much. And one of these days, we will still touch base and see other projects we can pick up together. Sama, I can see your hand up. I'm so sorry today. I will not allow you to ask a question. The time is really up. I'm so sorry about that. I do appreciate your
It's not a question. Sorry to cut you off. It's just
Okay.
it's just to say thank you and thumbs up to the presenter. Actually, it's not a question. I just wanted to
Oh.
appreciate you for this wonderful session. It's really a good one, and I love the way Mr. Ahmed did it. Like he actually tried the hands-on, and he made it so simpler for you to relate with. He's not making it too technical, and again, he's letting us go with a lot of stuff. And I just want you guys to please, let's see more of Mr. Ahmed. We are really, we'll be wanting. I know a lot of you that we agree with me that this is a very good presentation. I would love to see more. And even also, if it's a paid option, we'd love to explore that too. Thank you very much once again.
Oh, great.
Yes, I was typing if there's any way we could register maybe for upcoming events or for maybe a course or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, great, great. Thank you so much. Trust me, now we have your details at CyberGuard Lounge, and we'll be rolling out some events and even some training, paid version, of course. Very soon you will start seeing some of these events, and we know that you will definitely come on board. So we will keep you posted. And I want to assure everybody that very soon we're going to send to you the presentation slides, both the one I took earlier on and the one Olabisi took. We will send it all to you so that you can also go through it again and again and become an expert in that area as well. And I made mention of the fact that very soon we will also be rolling out some paid content like AI security. So please be on a lookout. We know that great stuff will be coming this year. So just stick with us, and you will definitely have some rich content that can really enhance your expertise in the field of cybersecurity. And lastly, I want to say thank you to CyberGuard Lounge team. The team had worked tirelessly to ensure that we have this event. Without the backrooms team, we will not be able to have it like this. So I want to say thumbs up to Dr. Jumi, to Kelechi, to Lovette, to Nene, to Favor, to Kachi, and a whole lot of further members that I may not be able to mention their name now. Please, thumbs up to you. We really, really appreciate the great job you are doing. And of course, great thanks to me myself. I will always I will also say thank you to myself, and thank you everyone. And please, CyberGuard Lounge is on YouTube. We are on LinkedIn. Go to our pages, subscribe, comment on the LinkedIn. This is a way of appreciating the stuff we have given you free of charge without collecting a penny. Go to our LinkedIn page, follow us, comment on our pages, like it on our YouTube also, watch our content and the likes, and you will find it quite enriching and really insightful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. And to our Muslims colleagues, we want to appreciate your attending this program, despite the fact that you are observing fasting. We pray that the Almighty God will be with you and answer your prayers. So at this junction, I will be drawing the curtain, and thank you very much, everyone. May the good Lord be with us all. Thank you. Bye.